No, dead. They're all dead.
Mamma mia!
The following views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the producers, hosts, and or guests of the Bitter Marks podcast. We assume no responsibility for any errors or omissions in the content provided.
Listener discretion is advised.
Bitter Marks! Bitter Marks!
Oh, blast your nuts and bolts faster. It's PB Blaster. What's up, smooth babies? Welcome to the Bitter Marks Podcast. Which is, by the way, your favorite non-wrestling podcast. Coming to you whenever we feel like it, approximately once a month. We don't even know when we're going to do the next one because we're not that prepared. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at BitterMarks. Email us bittermarks@gmail.com. I don't think we even check it anymore. I didn't check it, that's for sure. New episodes of this show, I don't know where you get them. Bittermarks.com. You get them on YouTube. Whenever we do the show, which you have to find out when we do the show, we do it Mondays at 9:05 Central Standard Time. I don't know, guys. I don't remember how to do the beginning of the show. So let me just get to the intros. I have a partner here. You know what? I did this on my other podcast yesterday. I'm going to do it again today. I am the host of this show. I'm the only host of this show. Everyone else, way more important than me. First guy, he's actually just ranked PWI's 14th best referee in South Wisconsin. That's pretty sweet. It's Pee-wee.
Hey, I think top 14 is pretty good. I'd take that.
Yeah.
What's going on, man? I think your intro was not the worst it's ever been. That was fine.
Hey, man, I don't remember how to do this. It's when you do it once every 4 weeks or whatever, it's like, what show are we on? Where are we?
I'm sure it's rough. I don't think we talked about this on Flip the Bumps. I don't agree with your whole, you're the host and everybody else is the headliner or the main event or whatever you were saying. I think the host is the most important person.
Well, that's because you're old school. Old school, the host used to be the most important person. Now,
like them anymore?
No, now I'm trash. You're the feature. You're the next level up here. You're the guy that we're trying to be. You still have street cred. You're cool.
All right, we'll get the other guy with street cred in here. I'm sure his arm is starting to hurt.
Well, the other guy doesn't have street cred anymore.
Oh, no.
He's a headliner. He's past the street cred phase. He's all about the dollar bills. And so I don't know if he's still stuck in Las Vegas or not. We will find out. It's the punctual prince of podcasting from parts unknown Illinois. It's Producer Tony.
What's up, everybody? Just got
There
in
he
from
is.
Vegas, and boy, is my arm tired.
So slot machines, right?
Yeah, also, I forgot to hide our faces, so that's why, hence the paper. Pee-wee, thinking on your toes over there. I had to follow suit.
Chat is saying real quick, Tony, on the technical side, that there's lots of echo.
Echo, eh?
Yeah, if you look at the bars on the bottom, when me and Sasha talk, I think you have to mute one of them.
All right, why don't you talk now?
Yeah, how are we doing? Should we have done this before we went live? Sure.
Sash?
Are we going to do this right now? Absolutely.
I mean, who cares? Maybe we just wanted extra reverb for this show because we're in our experimental phase of the podcast career. This is episode 138, 9, 7? Where are we at? Do we know?
I think it's 138. That's what I listed on the...
That sounds right.
We barely made it to do this podcast because Skype has done some shenanigans over here.
Skype is not a smooth baby. Skype did not want the show to go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Skype. It's a lot of people don't want this show to go on, but Skype in particular.
At least 2/3 of the hosts of the show, right?
And that's holding us back. By the way, Tony, did you add a picture to the bottom over there?
I did, on the bottom left over top.
Yeah, the Scott Hall.
We got Scott Hall.
Yeah.
You know, last time we talked was his unfortunate death. So I figure we throw him in there, memorialize him on the Bitter Marks background.
Yeah, chat is saying that the sound. Yes, absolutely, rest in peace. And chat is saying that sound is all good now. Tony, nice job.
We did it.
Absolutely.
We did it.
So Tony, we were supposed to do this last week, which would have made more sense with what we're going to talk about today, which includes a little bit of WrestleMania and also March Madness stuff.
Happy April.
But you got stuck in Vegas. What's going on? What happened?
Yeah, so we went on a vacation. We were supposed to go in 2020 when Jen completed her master's, but of course we couldn't do that because of COVID. So we were like, fuck it. It's 2022. We're vax boosted. Everything's cool. So we went. We were supposed to spend 3 nights there. About 10 hours before our flight home, I got a text message saying our flight is canceled. Now,
wow,
we are in Vegas. It's the end of spring break, so there are no flights coming back that day. Like, everything's booked. You can't get on a flight. So we had to spend an extra night in Vegas, which is why we could not do the Bitter Marks podcast last week. So that's entirely Southwest's fault, not my fault. Fuck those guys. I was ready to go. They pulled the rug out from under us right when we were supposed to leave.
Did they give you a reason?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, there was a big story. I think they canceled like 10,000 flights that day due to weather. I don't think it was bad weather here. And a technical issue. Now, both of those are acts of God. And when an act of God cancels your flight, they're not responsible. So, like, they don't give you anything for the extra night.
Oh, that was going to be my question.
I don't get any money.
For your room?
No.
Wow.
Nothing. Diddly
If
squat.
you're religious, I believe everything is an act of God. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Just blame it all on God.
That's interesting. So you're saying without saying that they gave you 2 reasons. One was a technical issue, which is not an act of God. But then they also said that 10,000 flights from around the country had to be canceled because of weather.
Yeah.
Weather. So, I understand what you're saying. So if they would have just said technical issues, they would have had to deal with, the reimbursements for 10,000 plus flights and all the people on those flights. If they add weather on there, well, now nobody's going to foot the bill. Yeah.
Can't do nothing about it. Sorry, guys.
That is shady.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that didn't wait until you're bitter for this week.
Oh, we're getting there, baby. Don't worry about it. Because there's another. There's more to this story that I will talk about during the bitter. Yeah.
So did you end up coming back the next day?
Yeah. So we were scheduled to leave at like 7 a.m. Vegas time Sunday morning. The earliest flight I could get home was 12 o'clock, so noon Vegas time on Monday. So I didn't get home till like 9 o'clock on Monday night. Jeez. And then I had to turn around and come back to work.
Did that affect your work schedule and everything?
Oh,
You're in your wife's work schedule. Was that was affected as well?
We got fucked because Jen was on spring break the week that we were gone. She was not on spring break on that Monday that we were still in Vegas. So she had to...
Did you talk about... I don't know how long that drive is. Did you talk about driving back?
Absolutely not. No, never.
Okay.
That would have been like 3 days.
Yeah, that makes
Did you have a good time at least while you were in there? Vegas,
great time.
Last time I went, which is the second time I ever went, I had a blast. And I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't buy prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
Still had a great time. You could just watch
people
stuff. Yeah, I had a good time in Vegas last time. You guys have a good time?
Yeah, we stayed at the Treasure Island, which is kind of in the middle of the strip-ish, so we can go each way, up and down.
How much money did you lose?
Yeah, that's the real question. Did you play poker?
No. So
wow,
Treasure Island did not have a poker room, which was upsetting. The closest poker room that I could find was at the Venetian, and I went over there once, and it was a 2-hour wait.
Oh, sure.
And
yeah, especially on spring break.
I'm there with my wife, and we're also there with 2 of our neighbor friends. They met us there. So I can't be like, hey guys, I'm gonna leave for 8 hours to go play poker. I'll see you later, So it just didn't work out. I played a little bit of roulette, little blackjack. The extra night that we were there, I hit like 3 numbers playing roulette. So it actually kind of worked out.
So you're up.
Yeah, kind of worked out.
Oh, that's great. Okay, congrats.
Last time I went to Vegas was for Double or Nothing AEW, where I immediately ran into Jerry Lynn in a casino, which was right after we had talked to Jerry Lynn on this podcast, which, by the way, happy 3 years, guys. I think WrestleMania is our anniversary, right?
Oh, that's true.
Definitely
I mean,
is.
that doesn't really count now, considering we do these once a quarter. But I get the gesture that you're putting out there.
That's why I didn't start the show with the parade. But, I'm just trying to slide it in over here. I actually, 2 weekends ago, my phone died. My phone just went. I was talking to Goff and Swick at the time, and my screen just went completely black. And just thinking of it now, I lost all my contacts. I lost everything because, like, whenever I set up my phone, it was like, hey, you want to put your stuff on the cloud? And I was like, you can't have my stuff. It's my stuff. And I'll back it up on my own. And then here we are. I've lost everything that I have, my notes, my memos, years of comedy
all the
writing
jokes.
gold.
Yeah, all the jokes.
All the jokes. That's the thing that hurts most, that I'm going to try and get my phone fixed for. But for 3 days, I didn't have a phone. It was like 1996. It was beautiful and also scary and sad.
Sure.
It was cool when you like don't need your phone, but then the second that you're like, I wonder what Mean Gene's middle name is, you can't look it up, and then you're just clueless. You don't I don't know what Mean Gene's middle name is. Tiny Dick, I believe, if we go by
Yes.
Dave.
There was a graphic
Promo
one
that
time.
one
Yeah,
time.
Tiny Dick. Yes.
But it was a complete disaster. And now thinking about it, I now have lost Jerry Lynn's phone number because
Oh no.
it was in that phone. And by the way, I lost like half of our friends' phone numbers. So if I haven't talked to you in a while, it's probably normal. But if I haven't talked to you in like 3 months from now, please text me so that I have your numbers.
Everybody
Santino texted me.
Send Sasha a dick pic, and he's got to figure out whose dick it is.
Look, I'm in. I'm up for this challenge. This is fun. We don't have any. Well, I have like one African American friend, so
Yeah, that one would
that'll
be
be
easy.
pretty
Yeah, that
easy.
one would be easy. But a bunch of mystery
and
dicks coming to your phone.
SWK is the black dick, but only by size and color. Anyway, other thing is I've lost podcasts. You know how like you have a podcast thing that you probably have a bunch of podcasts set up? I don't even remember what I listened to anymore. So I had to start that all over again. I mean, there's so many little things that you do that you don't realize that you have lost, and you're like, oh, okay, I have to download this app again. I have to do this over here again. Absolute disaster.
I can relate to that one. When my computer, my web browser has 30 plus tabs open at any given time. It's just stuff that I keep on going all the time. So when I accidentally close that web browser, or when my computer needs to restart and I don't have all those tabs, trying to remember what I can remember about 4 of them.
Tony, I love the shirt. I love that you're wearing the shirt that you had.
Yeah.
You won that shirt for losing the what do we call them? The who cares? Yeah, who cares? Tell me about the shirt. You went to a concert and you were texting us about this shirt, that you were having some excellent success at the show.
Yeah, so when you gave me the shirt, I think it was a little bit over a month ago. I actually had a concert that Wednesday, I think. And I was getting ready. It was a Glassjaw show. They were doing their first 2 albums. It was like a show I was really hyped for. I actually tried to get Sasha to go with me, but he stiffed me for an open mic night, I think.
True that. Didn't even end up going to it, but yes.
Fantastic. Love to hear it. And so I was looking for something to wear because I had to get dressed at work. I wasn't coming home. I had to get dressed there. So I saw the Blackman shirt just sitting there, and I was like, you know what? This is gonna go over huge with the kids. But there was no kids there. It was all 40-year-old white dudes. So I wore the shirt.
That's prime Blackman country
Audience,
by the way.
Yeah. That's his demo right there. So I wear the shirt, and 2 adult males come up to me, fist pound. One guy's like, "Where did you get the shirt? I've never seen a Steve Blackman shirt." And then I had to tell him, I had to break the news that I lost a bet and I had to wear the shirt in public. Because he was psyched. He was a legit fan, and then I had to tell him the bad news. And the other guy just went along with
He
him.
thought you were on the same team initially.
Yeah.
He thought, oh, finally, after years, after the Attitude Era has come and gone, I finally found somebody else that likes Steve Blackman. Nope, only to find out that the one person that loves Steve Blackman finds the other person that hates Steve Blackman.
And then the second guy came up, And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have some fun. He's like, awesome shirt, dude. He fist pounded me. And I said, I fucking love kendo sticks, bro. And we walked to our separate ways. Glassjaw played an excellent set, and the rest is history. And I think this bet is paid off, right? We good?
Oh yeah, you are a man of honor, and you immediately decided to pay this bet off. Meanwhile, somebody else over here
getting there. Right. Give me the next like 3 to 6 episodes that we do of this show. Sure, I'll have it done.
By the way, Steve Blackman is a shaved head and shorter and jean shorts away from being the biggest wrestling superstar in history. Right? Goatee. He could have been Austin. Same era. Same taekwondo or whatever he does.
Maybe not the same personality, but sure.
What kind of beer do you think
beers?
Blackman would have drink? It's probably like a Michelob Ultra kind of guy. What do you think?
He'd be a Topo Chico guy. I think he'd be like
hard
he'd
seltzer,
stun people, and then people would be throwing glass bottles into the ring. You'd just be kicking him because he is the man. A Steve Black fan that comes in from Putski, always chiming in at the right time. Thank you, Putski. Well, I'm glad that you wore the shirt.
I wore the shirt
once. Now you're wearing the shirt again. It looks like it fits you perfectly. By the way, I'm not gonna lie.
It's a solid fit. I'm not gonna lie. It's a solid quality shirt. Like the ink is not rubbing off just yet. It's been washed twice already, so it's not.
Where did you get that, Sash?
Stashpages.us.
That's right.
I want to say.
Yeah, you plug them initially, yeah.
Yeah, and continuously. They continuously put out great shirts. We actually have some more shirts we're going to look at a little bit later. One of them I didn't tell you guys, and I'm not going to show you, but it's a Glacier versus Mortis shirt that just came out.
Wow. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you can remember anybody from the 1997, just put them on a shirt, and I'm sure it will sell.
Go to a Glassjaw show. You'll go over huge.
Speaking of 1997, WrestleMania happened a week and a half ago or whatever. Pee-wee, I think you're the only one here who watched any part of WrestleMania. How do you feel about that?
I mean, you're not wrong. I did watch the majority of it. But during night one, there was 2 nights of this thing. And during night one, they were airing it. I was just able to pull it up on Peacock on the monitor on my left. And then on the monitor in front of me, I was doing a live podcast of Turtle Talk with Dave Wheeler, who's a big comic book guy, a comic book artist and action figure artist. We were just talking Ninja Turtles, and I just had it on mute to my left. So I was watching it, but I definitely was not focused on it.
Did he know that you were watching?
Honestly, I don't know. I would imagine so. He's like a Ninja Turtle expert, and I'm just a fan, so he does most of the time. It's like this show, where I don't do much of the talking. I just kind of sit back and let somebody else do the work. He didn't say anything about it. He seemed pleased with it. He might have been doing the same thing. So I did see it. And my general feeling after night one was, wow, this was one, I'm angry that we didn't get together as a group and see this, because I feel like this would have been a good group activity, a group show to watch. And then 2, I can't wait for Sunday, because this is shaping up to be one of the better WrestleManias, especially given what the average product is currently on Monday and Friday nights. I was very surprised after Saturday. Sunday had some good moments, but I don't think Sunday was nearly as good as night one on Saturday.
Our buddy Santino, obviously, he wanted to host. And so he was like, hey, really? should I host? Will you come if I host? And I was like, I will not come either night to watch WrestleMania. So
just no interest, or you were busy?
I mean, I was busy, but I had no interest. And
okay.
Really, after watching the entire, like you hear stuff on Twitter, and I've unfollowed like most wrestlers, I've unfollowed WWE. So I'm really like trying to cut out all that, the stuff that I don't like about wrestling. Smart. So I really didn't get an overview of everything that happened at WrestleMania, but there were a couple things that like caught my interest. The only thing that I really regret missing was the Austin return. Stone Cold
that's
Steve
not
Austin.
What I thought you were going to say. That was by far not my favorite thing of either night.
Well, here's the thing. I was never a huge Stone Cold Steve Austin fan, I just thought, what a cool WrestleMania moment coming back in Texas. You guys know I'm a big Kevin Owens fan. Kevin Owens has been using the stunner. So I just thought it would have been a very cool thing to see. And
it was fine for what it was.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be anything. That's the only thing I would have liked to see, like with my own eyes. So many people texted me during the Johnny Knoxville Sami Zayn match.
That was the main event.
What?
I swear to God, I've absolutely not seen a better celebrity match on any show, WrestleMania or not. That match was more entertaining than 95% of any wrestling matches I've ever seen.
Was it better than the Blue Bunny one last year or whatever the fuck that dude's name is? The rapper?
It's Bad Bunny. And you respect Bad Bunny, okay?
What's Blue Bunny? Is that ice cream? I think that's ice cream.
That's ice cream.
Yeah, got it.
So I think it's apples and oranges. Like, Bad Bunny did a wrestling match and came off as a good wrestler.
Sure.
Johnny Knoxville came off as an amazing entertainer. And the stuff that him and Sami Zayn were doing, and the whole Jackass crew got involved in it. It was done really, really, really well. And it's, night and day. I wish we had the clip of it, compared to when Jackass was initially on Raw.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember this? When Steve-O and Chris Pontius were in the ring and they challenged somebody to come down, and down came Umaga, and they were laughing and not selling. So Umaga just kept beating the hell out of both of them. Yeah. To go from that to this match is that I've watched this match twice since it aired. So I've watched it 3 times total. I absolutely love this match.
My cousin Nick texted me. He was one of the many people who had texted me during that match, but he said, this is what did he say? The worst, most entertaining match I've ever seen.
Sure.
Because I believe he won. Johnny Knoxville won via mousetrap or something like that. Is that
he won
true?
Via giant mousetrap?
Giant mousetrap, yes. Which
it's not a picture perfect 5-star Tokyo Dome match, but this match is at least worth checking out. If you have not seen it yet, check out Peacock. Go fast forward to like 3 hours in. I don't even know what night it was on. Whatever night, figure out what night it was on. Go find that show.
I believe.
And it was absolutely my favorite part of either night.
That's hilarious. What about Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes showed up. It was an open challenge, not open challenge, but basically Seth Rollins didn't have a match for WrestleMania. So the Raw before WrestleMania, Vince tells him, "Don't worry, I have somebody for you. You're going to be on WrestleMania." Rollins was happy, and it ended up being Dustin Rhodes. More on my thoughts on Dustin Rhodes later in this show. But what did you think about it? Did you happen to catch it? Did you hear it with sound or anything like that? Did you watch the match? What did you think of Dustin?
Okay, yeah, I figured out now.
I keep calling him Dustin, but Cody.
I was going to say, did they both come back? Like, what's going on here? No. Jesus Christ.
Dustin would have been great.
Yeah.
It would have been great.
The Johnny Knoxville Sami Zayn match I watched live. Like, I watched it and had the volume up. I was able to focus on it. Because that was night 2. Night 1 was the night that I had to watch everything on mute to the left of me here. And night 1 was Cody. So I did see Cody, but I didn't hear I liked reactions, right? Like, I would have loved to hear that reaction live. I did go back and listen to it. But initially I would have liked to hear his music hit and the crowd go, okay, we thought this was happening. This is now officially happening. Here he has the Cody Vader, which raises him up from the floor. People are going nuts. And it was definitely worth the watch afterwards. But watching it live without the volume, like it didn't have nearly as good of an effect as I imagine it would have if the volume was up.
I turned on Raw the next day to kind of catch clips and see everything that I missed.
Okay, smart.
Raw started off with Cody coming out and cutting a promo, which they allegedly said was just, off the cuff, go out there and speak. When he came out, in my opinion, there was no crowd reaction. Now, this could be because it's the 4th night of WrestleMania or whatever. It's, every night in Dallas, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And a lot of people leave after WrestleMania, except for these like hardcore people who are exhausted on Monday.
Another aspect that you have to consider, they got the same complaints during Mania, saying like, this isn't your typical Mania crowd. a lot of the typical Mania crowd is international people coming over from like the UK and from Australia and all of that. Because of COVID restrictions, they could not have, I don't think any international people were there in the audience. So the crowd was completely different than just your typical WrestleMania.
I call BS on that, but I will allow it for this argument. I think
Appreciate it.
My aunt just went to Serbia. If WrestleMania is in Serbia, she'd be having a good time right now because she wouldn't be at WrestleMania. But I don't know. I don't think this Cody Rhodes stuff is going to work. Maybe it's just because I don't like Cody Rhodes, but our dear friend, follower of the pod, Dutch Mantel, said exactly what my thoughts are on this. He was like, after a month, it'll be died down. After 3 months, Cody's probably going to be like not given something good, you know, because he's not Austin. He's not The Rock. He's not these superstars like a lot of these marks are making him out to be. There are so many people who are just, oh, Cody.
Is that Santino?
It is insane. It's and I don't know. I don't get where it comes from. Okay, he likes to hype people up, but he came out on Raw, and I was talking with our friend Suave, who loves Cody, and Dan Rhino from STF Underground and Rhino's Wrestling Review. We have a little chat going. We were talking about stuff, and I was like, let me guess, Cody's going to cry. And he came out, and the lips started quivering as he talked about Dusty. It's like Rey Mysterio and the Eddie Guerrero stuff. Like, I don't need this. Do something new. By the way, that's not my bitter. I mean, it is my bitter, so I might not have one for later in the show.
Honestly, I don't agree with you. I think the Cody stuff.
Months, it's gonna be a disaster for him within 6 months from now.
Oh,
I'm sure he'll win the title. That seems to be the big thing. He brought that up, so maybe that was something that was promised to him. I know they gave him a bus so he can travel in a bus. I can't see them going, oh yeah, Cody's the future. I don't see it. I don't know. I'm sorry to cut you off, by the way.
No, and I do see what you're saying. I don't know if I agree with you though. He was, in my opinion, getting a reaction. When I went back and watched it for the Mania night, he definitely got a reaction there. The following Monday, he got a reaction. And then tonight, he got another big reaction. Tonight, he also had more pyro than I've ever seen anyone. As we're recording this on a Monday. But they got rid of the Cody elevator thing, and now it's just like more pyro than Goldberg, more pyro than Shawn, more pyro than anybody.
Because you have to try and make him interesting, right? So they have to do something. Dutch Mantel said it better than I did. WWE is going to mess it up. That's going to be part of it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I would like to see where they're going to go with it. It's interesting that Cody was basically the top of the #1 rival promotion, and now they brought him in. Will Vince do what everybody thinks Vince is going to do, where basically just put him in polka dots and make a fool out of Cody? I don't know. As of right now, it doesn't seem that way. As of right now, all I'm going to do is judge it on what they're doing currently. Yes, if you want to guess what the WWE scene is going to be like in 6 months, I couldn't tell you because it's going to be a bunch of guys that I've never heard of on top, plus Roman Reigns. I don't know.
I can't wait till next Mania when we get Cody versus the returning Velveteen Dream. It's going to be a fantastic thing. And Roman Reigns did end up beating Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns is at something like 600 days with the title, which I love. He's a heel. He's held the title for that long, and nobody else really is a challenger. Like, no one's worthy of beating him. He's been on top, both, you know, in storyline and just like a excellent character as a heel for so long. I love the fact that they've given him the title this long. And I'm a Brock Lesnar guy. You know, I want him to win, but I don't know. What do you think of Roman as a heel and this title run? Anything?
I think it's interesting that, like you said, Roman's had the belt for 600 plus days or whatever it is. We have to imagine that they have kept the belt on him for so long because they have the same feeling that we do. Nobody else is on Roman's level. We've talked about this before. Who else are you going to have to go on late night shows and have look good as your WWE champion? You need somebody who's going to look professional. You need somebody who's going to look like a champion. And Roman is the guy that does that. But then the other side of it is, that's us giving a ton of credit to WWE, saying that they have recognized that. Right?
Yeah.
And that's not something that WWE is known for. They're not known for seeing, what's written on the wall, that Roman is the number one guy. That seems to be the only thing that they can read. Everything else, they get rid of Bray Wyatt, right?
Yeah.
They get rid of all the stories that are akin to firing Bray Wyatt. That also, to me, is written on the wall. But just, if nothing else, just don't fire Bray Wyatt. Like, that's bottom line. All these guys, same with Daniel Bryan, don't let him go. But they do. It's like the only thing in Vince's Bible of how to run WWE is push Roman, right? And not say he's wrong in that. I just think that book needs more than one page.
Well, page 2 is going to be next year's WrestleMania when Logan Paul beats Roman Reigns for the world title after 900 days or whatever it's going to be.
Another celebrity who I thought did a fantastic job at Mania.
That's what I heard too, yeah.
The celebrities this year were really, really good.
And then I guess one of the most talked about things, producer Tony's going to play this clip, but don't play it too much, Tony. Play it once because they might kick us off of YouTube for playing this thing. The stunner, the worst stunner of all time, Stone Cold and Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
That's it. Take it off.
Take it off.
That's it. Take it off.
Hold on.
One
more time.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
no. Okay, that's it. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off for us.
How old is Vince?
200. He's got to be in his 70s at this point.
He's got
75?
to. And he's never taken a good stunner in his life, but that is by far the worst one of all time.
Don't you think that that's poetic justice? Like you said, he's never taken a good one.
Never.
This one is hopefully, God willing, that was Austin's last stunner ever.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's fitting that the last one was to Vince, and it's fitting that it looked like the worst one of all time. That's the way that the stunner was.
My favorite part is when he bounces off the fucking ropes, and he's and Austin's laughing while he tries to pick him up and grab his neck.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Austin was having a great time.
Yeah,
right?
he's like, you dumb son of a bitch, here you come.
And he turns 77 this year.
Jesus.
So I mean, if we know any 77-year-olds who can take a stunner, I'd be surprised. But it was funny to watch. It was a funny moment, and I'm glad Stone Cold laughed it off at the end. Wasn't pissed off about it or something.
I mean, what else can you do really but laugh? Because that was pathetic.
All right, moving from our WrestleMania, let's move on to Pee Wee's WrestleMania. Pee Wee, I know you got some stuff coming up here.
Yeah, I did want to throw this stuff out here. I do have a very busy May coming up.
Oh no! Okay, we gotta turn that off.
Oh no! We're gonna get thrown off YouTube. So starting in my May in general is just booked, front to back. The first weekend in May, I'm in Milwaukee for a video game show. I won't go into detail there. If you want to hear details on that, flipsandbumps.com. That's our other podcast where we talk about flipping stuff. But the wrestling wise, the rest of May is just filled with big wrestling shows that I've been able to get booked on. The first one is the one you see in front of you. This is for Creative Pro Wrestling. This promotion is run by Brian Myers and Pat Buck. Pat Buck has been in the news lately. Have you seen that?
Yeah, because day after WrestleMania, he quit.
Yeah, he was the producer for Roman versus Brock. So the main event of the second night of WrestleMania, he's the producer. The day after, he says, "Okay, I've done everything I can do here. I need to leave, and I'm going to go be with my family, and I'm going to go down other routes," and he left. So now he's able to go back to New York, and he's focusing more on this promotion that he's run with Brian Myers for years. But because Buck has had this job with WWE, he had to, his focus was there, and Myers was left running this promotion. I've been doing stuff with Cardona and Myers the last few months, and I was going to be in town anyways this weekend for this show, so I reached out to Myers maybe two months ago, a month and a half ago, and just asked them, said, "Hey, do you have any spots for this big show you have coming up on May 14th? It's what I've heard, it's their biggest Creative Pro show to date that they're going to have. Cardona's booked, Myers is going to work, and then they have a bunch of AEW guys that are booked on this show. They've got the two guys from the Dark Order, John Silver and what's the guy, Sasha, the guy's name on the left?
Alex Reynolds.
Yes, very good, very good. So they're going to be in attendance, in action.
They're excellent, by the way. They're very good.
Everybody on this card is phenomenal. We've got Chris Statlander, who's probably my favorite female act on any wrestling show right now just because of her gimmick. We've
Max
got
Caster, who
Max
is the
Caster
man.
is probably my favorite male act on any wrestling show right now. Can't wait for that. And then I think the biggest draw of all of this, and I don't even think so Tony, we have the flyer in front of us. I've talked about 6 of the 7 people that are listed here. There's one guy, it's the guy to the right of Cardona. Well, Cardona's left. Do you know who that guy is?
No, but he looks like
I want to say that's
12 years old.
That's the biggest draw. He's the biggest draw on this poster. Would you agree?
Dude, he's why I'm going. I'm just seeing this poster for the first time.
We've got Hook in his first and possibly only independent date. This was unbelievable. I don't know how they pulled this off. I don't know how they booked him. Hook, Tony, is Taz's kid.
Okay.
And Taz, by the way, I've always stood by this. Taz is the man, and Hook is the man. I've never said anything otherwise.
So who's dropping him off? Because that kid cannot drive. He is not of age.
You're about to get suplexed. It's not going to be pretty, Tony.
Don't joke. Don't joke, right?
I wouldn't mess around with it.
Hey, he's got a youthful face. That's all I'm saying. I'm sure he's a wonderful wrestler.
Justin Tuttle, by the way, King of Art, chimes in. He says he gave a Austin gave a stunner to McAfee after Vince.
That's true. Yeah.
So, and I heard McAfee's still
McAfee, another guy, not a wrestler, but did a phenomenal job. Yeah. Agreed. So on May 14th, this one's in Melville, New York. New building. I don't think they've ever run this building before, but I hear it's big. And this is this is going to be Cap's biggest show to date. You can either catch this live in Melville, New York on May 14th. It will also be streaming on Twitch somewhere. I'll tweet out the links once it gets a little bit closer. But I'm very excited for this show. It's a company that I've never worked for before. And it's obviously the card is stacked.
Yeah, please let Brian Myers know how my deadlift form is looking. Because I'm sure.
If he doesn't ask me about it first, absolutely.
Yeah, my back is looking chiseled. You should see my abs, bro. You should see my abs. You cut your hands if you touch me. That's all I'm saying. So let them know.
If you thought this was a stacked show, check out the lineup for the following night in the same building. Look, the flyer is so packed full of people, you can't tell who's on it. This one is in the same building in Melville, New York, but this is for FWF. This is Brian Myers and Matt Cardona's their podcast wrestling promotion. I don't even know how you other than that, I don't know what you'd categorize it as.
Which is what you refed for, which is what you got the trading card, right?
I have not talked about that, but I do have that right here.
Oh my God.
Look at this.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
No, that's okay. I probably would have forgotten about it. So for the first time in my pro wrestling career, because I was a referee on FWF 2 back in October and then it aired in December, they made a card set. The card set's not released. I don't have the full set, but I was sent the one card that it doesn't have my name on it. Just I think it says FWF officials FWF officials. But then I will also I'm excited to see the rest of the set as well, because that set is going to have like action shots from the ring. And while my name won't be on it, it'll still have me like mid-match reffing stuff. So I'm excited to see that. After I did that show, I checked with Cardona. I checked with the guys who were in charge, said, hey, if you guys were pleased with my work, I would love to come back and do future shows for you. And that was back in October. Now they're finally doing the next show, FWF 3, again, Melville, New York, on May 15th. And they agreed. They said, yeah, absolutely, come on down. So on May 15th, or that weekend, I'm driving down to New York, doing the Cap show on Saturday night, and then FWF is Sunday night. This show is again just like FWF 2, I think was, or maybe it wasn't. This might be the first one. This one, FWF 3 on May 15th, airs on Fight TV. This is, I believe, my first official pay-per-view that I'll be a part of.
Wow.
Right. We're going to have a watch party for this, I think. I think I'm going to host this so we can watch Pee-wee on television.
I will pay for it. If you want to do that, I will absolutely pay for it. I'm very excited for this one. The flyer, like we said, is packed full of people. The back, it's like in 2 sections of people. The back section is a bunch of like the Create a Pro guys that are going to be just mixed into the show. But as far as the names go, we've got Cardona, Myers, Smart Mark Sterling, who's Jade Cargill's lawyer. We've got Chelsea Green, Deonna Purrazzo, VSK from Impact, Nick Gage, I don't know is going to be in a match. It's at least been said that Nick Gage is going to make an appearance.
Pee-wee, don't work
cut
that
your
match,
face,
baby.
dude.
Don't work it, baby.
Stay as far away from that.
Don't work
as
it,
I
baby.
can.
I mean, it's going to be an
got,
excellent match because Nick Gage is an excellent wrestler, as we know.
Smart.
But still,
Also, Effie is on that flyer.
Effie, another GCW guy. To the left of Effie is Dirty Dango, is what he goes as now, which is Fandango. To the right of Nick Gage, do you know who that is?
Is that Maven?
That's Maven.
Yeah.
I think this is Maven's first. He was on GCW's Spring Break, or maybe like Joey Janela's Spring Break. He did something over Mania, but it wasn't a match. I think this show is going to be his first match. And then behind him, we have Heath Slater. We've got the Headbangers, Scotty 2 Hotty, and then above them, we've got Nunzio and the Sandman.
Yeah, Little Guido.
I was going to say,
Little Guido.
I spy
sorry,
Little
yeah.
Guido. Yeah, absolutely.
This card is absolutely packed head to toe. I only know a handful of the matches that are going on, but based on the amount of people on this card, it's either going to have 26 matches or there's going to be a battle royal with 40 of these guys.
I want to know more
Well,
about the guy with the sweater, in the top middle.
Oh, Sash, do you know who that is?
No, I can't see it very well.
Philip Seymour Cardigan.
Yes.
This kid is amazing. I love this kid. He comes to the ring with a cup of coffee, and he puts it in his corner, and then he just works like a very sophisticated, I'm gonna tighten up my tie, I'm gonna make sure my glasses are on right. But then when he needs an extra boost of energy, he goes to the corner and similar to Popeye and his spinach, instead of spinach, he chugs some coffee and then he goes to town. That's how he hulks
All
up.
right,
He
but-
takes caffeine.
Buy me a shirt, Pee-wee. I want one
Dude,
of those.
Philip Seymour Cardigan is the man.
I can't imagine it's going to be a bad show. Anything Cardona has done since he left WWE has been gold. I mean, and the stuff that he did at GCW when they did Hammerstein Ballroom a couple months ago, bringing in Virgil for his match just in randomly. I mean, he is super creative, super awesome, and it's awesome to see this thing growing to this type of roster,
Yeah, agreed. I'm very, very excited for this thing. It started out very, very small. The first FWF was done during the pandemic. They didn't have any crowd, didn't have anything. And even the roster was very, very tiny. FWF 2 was a little bit bigger. Like I said, I was able to come in. The roster expanded a little bit, but we didn't have an audience. The only audience that you heard during that was any wrestler that wasn't in the ring was behind the camera just doing random chants and whatever. Now, for the first time, FWF is going to perform in front of live people, and I'm very, very excited for this show. I've got one more show, so that's one weekend, the May 15th or May 14th and the 15th. This is the flyer for the following weekend.
Yeah, you're a busy
this
guy.
This is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Jeez.
Yeah, so this one, now Wisconsin's not too far from me, but this show specifically, this is middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. This show means a lot. This is Wrestling Con for ACW. I don't know where Water City comes in. Water City is part of their title. I'm just going to call it ACW's Wrestling Con. Now, this show means a lot to me because the first indie show that I went to that I wasn't the one that I wasn't performing on, and then two, the only indie show that I had taken Connor and Steph to after my wrestling career, and the only indie show Connor had ever been to, the first one at least, was ACW's Wrestling Con 2021, was this show last year. I went down there. That was the first time that I hung out with Myers and Cardona. I wasn't reffing, wasn't doing anything, but I still saw, again, for the first time in 10 plus years, how an indie show runs. Saw it right in front of my eyes. And it was that show that really sparked something inside of me to start, researching and figuring out if I could start, take this up again and start getting back into the ring. And this show a year ago was the one that kickstarted it. Now, this show a year ago, I was just sitting in the stands watching it with my kid. Cut to a year later, and I've been working for ACW for the past 6 months. Now I'm going to be working for this is their WrestleMania. 1 year later, exactly to the day, I'm going to be working in the ring in that exact show. I'm very, very excited about this one. And the roster on this one, again, is stacked. We've got some FWF crossover. We got some Fandango and Brian Myers are on this show as well. But we also have Karrion Kross, and Sash, who's his wife?
Scarlett Bordeaux. And Karrion Kross, I believe, also has a full head of hair now since he was released.
Is that an older picture?
It's a very old picture, yes.
No, it's not very old, but it's old enough. Like that's a WWE. That's a Karrion Kross picture. He was Killer Kross before he was Karrion Kross. Scarlett Bordeaux. She's been, I mean, on indie shows in Illinois for a long time. I believe the Tuttles know her as well.
Okay, that's cool.
Got Danhausen.
Yeah, Danhausen's coming up. Honestly, I think that he's one of the he's a sleeper headliner. I think a lot of people are going to be coming out to see Danhausen.
Yeah,
he doesn't do, to my knowledge, especially now that he's with AEW, but he doesn't do a lot of like Midwest stuff. So I think a lot of people will be tuning in just to see Danhausen. But on top of that, we also have the Godfather. They bring in legends. We've got the Godfather and Eric Bischoff. And Eric Bischoff the night before on Friday night is doing his 83 weeks. With Conrad, like a live show of that in Oshkosh. So Conrad Thompson will be in town. Ethan Page will be there. I'm a big Ethan Page fan. Love that guy. Yeah, and then the guy who they're saying is the headliner is, does he still go by Aleister Black?
No, he's was it still Aleister something? I don't know. I remember like his debut, he had two names.
Okay, then they might have taken it away. But whoever Aleister Black is currently, it's Aleister Black. We've got Aleister Black as the main guy. So I'm very, very excited for this. When I originally saw this show a year ago, I knew the names. I knew Myers, I knew Cardona, I knew Swoggle, and I knew, Heath was on that show and stuff like that. But I didn't know any of the like ACW guys that they mixed into the show. Now, after working for this company, I've talked about this company a lot on the last show where I put them over very strong for taking me in like family. To be able to see my family come up and put on this big wrestling show card, I'm very, very excited for the show. As big of the weekend is the previous weekend in New York, I'm more excited for this show.
Yeah, and it's Malachi Black.
Malachi Black, that sounds right. Yeah.
And by the way, I think it's going to be awesome to see him live. I'm a big fan of his. I wish they put him on TV more on AEW, but he's got like the little stable with Brody King, and now they put what's his
Buddy
name?
Murphy.
Buddy Murphy, yeah.
Yeah.
So they got something going over there.
Yeah. So these are three big shows. Think about I spent 8 or 9 years working for Randy, going up every month, going to Whitewater, Wisconsin, Edgerton, Jefferson, doing all these tiny shows in front of 25 people, and nothing against the roster. The roster was great, and that was, again, like the roster was like family. But we rarely brought in the big names. If you just look at the caliber of the roster that I'm dealing with on these three shows alone versus where I was 10 years ago, it's night and day. I cannot wait for these 2 weekends in May.
I love it. I'm gonna host so we can watch that Saturday. Unless I got something going on, then I don't care.
So the other thing is that Saturday is Cap, Sunday is FWF.
Oh, Sunday is FWF.
So it's a Sunday, so you might be limited on what you can do. But if that's the case, that's okay. I appreciate the sentiment either way.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all you got going.
That's all I got going. If anything else comes up, I'll let you know.
All right. Well, we're going to run a little bit late probably on this thing. So I'm going to go super quick through what I have here. And you guys just let me know what you think here. Triple H said that in an interview recently that main roster people, guys who are on Raw or SmackDown, earn at least blank amount of money. Do you guys want to guess what the minimum is if you are on Raw or SmackDown? It's an annual payment.
Okay.
$65,000.
Oh, can I just take the under? Like the way under?
250. 250,000.
What?
Yeah. According to Triple H, the minimum is 250,000 annually if you are a Raw or SmackDown. That's not NXT. Those guys get paid hourly, I believe. But yeah, 250,000. That's
250.
That's a good living.
Things are good.
Whoa. That's good living.
Here's a show that I'm more interested in than anything that you've done, Pee-wee. ETU Wrestling in New Jersey. And by the way, I'm kidding, obviously.
No, tell me more. What's ETU?
I hope you know.
What does it stand for? Extreme
I'm guessing
Trampoline Universe?
Maybe. I thought it was university, like Eastern Tennessee University Wrestling or something, live from New Jersey. So they're having a show this upcoming Saturday. I don't know the details except for these couple of things. 1, Max Caster will be there. Big fan. 2, Rock and Roll Express are taking on SAT. You remember SAT?
Samoan. Who am I thinking? Samoan SWAT team?
No. SAT was like the two little guys, like
I don't know who that is.
They with like Amazing Red, way back in the day from like New Jersey Pro Wrestling or whatever. They recently came back.
Spanish announce team is who it is.
There you go. Flippy guys. But yeah, they're back. They did some GCW shows recently. They're taking on the Rock and Roll Express in what will be a humdinger, of course. And the other person on this show, I don't know if this is a comeback. I don't know what's going on. Maybe you've impressed him so much that he is trying to come back. Scoot Andrews is wrestling on this show.
Wow.
Yeah, this Saturday, and it's live on IWTV. It's independent wrestling television. I don't own this. I don't know what this is. I don't know how to get it. I'm not going to get it. I was just shocked to see that Scoot Andrews is wrestling and he was on the Flyers.
Scoot. That's great.
Speaking of Max Caster, Pee-wee, I love this guy. This guy comes out, listen, and he does a freestyle rap every single time, and it's always slightly offensive to somebody, right? So like Samoa Joe came out recently, and he was talking about Samoa Joe. This was last week. He ended up getting crushed by Samoa Joe, which made me sad. But he is so good so often that I was like, I am buying an Acclaimed t-shirt tonight.
Wow.
So I went to ProWrestlingTees.com. I went to buy an Acclaimed t-shirt for $24.95. I added the thin t-shirt, because I like to show the pecs.
Yeah.
And with shipping, the total for this shirt came out to $32. By the way, that was after a 20% discount code. 20% off paying $32 for a shirt. And so I'm sorry, I couldn't buy it. I can't pay $32 for a t-shirt. That's ridiculous. And I almost went on a very inflammatory Twitter tirade against Pro Wrestling Tees. I didn't know how you guys would feel about it. And I know we got those Bishop Sucks Eggs money coming in from those t-shirts. I didn't want to cut it off completely.
I say go nuts with it. Worst coming to worst, I could just get you a Max Caster shirt when I see him on the at the Cap Show.
Please buy me 5 Max Caster shirts.
Yeah, we'll do.
The Acclaimed are incredible. By the way, also, I'm not wearing the shirt, but I bought an Asian Man Records shirt this week. $14 shipped to my house. Same prices since 1997. And that's why you got to support Asian Man Records and not Pro Wrestling Tees. Asian Man Records, Mike Park still runs it out of his parents' garage in San Jose or wherever. Please support this man. He's the man. $14. You find me a $14 cool t-shirt, and I will find you Asian Man Records. Anyway,
merchcorner.com/bittermarks.com.
Merch Corner. Very quickly, Merch Corner. Found some t-shirts, found some stuff. Producer Tony, put it up. This is from HeelTurnProWrestling.com.
What is this?
That is awesome.
They did a complete line of March Madness t-shirts, and you can't do March Madness without some Macho Man March Madness, my friend. He is going between the legs. He's probably going to dunk. I assume he's dunking out of this. That's the first one. The second one.
Not tan enough.
This is a John Cena as the North Carolina Tar Heels logo.
Okay. A little bit of a stretch.
Play on words here?
A little bit of a stretch, but
it's okay, though. It's okay. It's a nice little sweatshirt. $32.
But is there anything more than it just being Cena's face where Ram should be?
I don't think so, but Cena heel sweater, maybe because he's the ultimate heel.
He did that one promo where he talked about turning heel, where he like made a reference to a dance where he would turn heel, but he was also saying like on the insider term, like teasing that he was going to turn heel. Turn heel, tar heel.
No, you guys are idiots. Yeah, they're the Tar Heels. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm aware. That's the point I was making. Right.
But Tony was just saying 2 independent statements. We're idiots, and they are the North Carolina Tar Heels. The next picture is it's from 2800 Studio. They created a BWO all over t-shirt. Now this is a great shirt. This is
limited to 50.
Yeah, limited to 50. And the all over print. I've been looking to get some of these done with producer Tony's high school picture as an all over print.
I made one of these with my son's face on it and gave it to my wife, like an all over print.
Wow.
It's worth it. It absolutely. Honestly, it's not. It's the opposite of a soft style T-shirt.
Yeah.
Like it's like super heavy and it feels bad, like texture-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. That part's terrible, but the design-wise, it looks great.
And then the last one is not a wrestling T-shirt, but it's from uglykidsclub.bigcartel.com. They got the Ernest T-shirt coming.
Like
it's his face on the front and on the back. Know what I mean? Ernest is a big influence to all of us, clearly.
When's your birthday, Sash? When's your birthday?
Every month, my friend. Every month. My birthday is June 19th
of the golf tournament,
which is the day after the Billy Joe Travis Memorial Crockett Cup Tag Team Championship Invitational Tournament. Boom, off the top of my head.
Wow, nice
work. If
If
you want to come to that.
Can't remember the intro to this show, but has no problem reciting that.
Yeah, I like golf. By the way,
Golf.
I've mentioned Suave once on this podcast already. I got to mention him again. We were talking about T-shirts, and he was talking about how bad the AEW T-shirts are. God damn it, Tony. And
trying hard to get us canceled.
And he was talking about how awful their T-shirts are. And he went down this chat that I'm in with him, listing every single T-shirt and then just shooting on every single T-shirt. And I would love to release this as a podcast, just him yelling about T-shirts, because it's the most aggressive Suave you've ever seen in your life, just bashing Anna Jay shirts and Nyla Rose and Big Show and all these shirts. And so I just wanted to say, good job, Suave. I know you don't listen to this podcast, but I'm going to cut out audio of me saying good job, Suave, since I bashed him earlier for loving Cody Rhodes so much. And then the last thing that I think we should get to here, guys, we did a bracket-style tournament this year. It was a little bit different than last year. Last year we did the tournament where it was stuff related to the show, to this show. And then we stopped doing the show, so we didn't really have new stuff to put on. So I figured we would each pick, I told you guys pick 25 different things, randomly send them to me. You guys don't know what each one of you picked. And you guys gave me 50. I think you ended up crossing a couple of times, maybe like 2 times or something like that. So then I picked the rest of the names here. And we did a bracket-style tournament. We're down to the final 4 here. How do you guys want me to do this? Do you want me to read all the matchups that we had and then just say what the final 4 is?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I can go through them pretty quickly, and you guys tell me if any stick out or any of them you thought would make a further run. We had Steiner Math versus Mr. Perfect Sports Promos. Titus Falling Under the Ring versus Beyond the Mat.
I think, do you need to say the winners here too, so we know who's going on?
I'll tell you just the final 8.
Okay.
So I'll go like, this is the first bracket,
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you're right. Give us the list and then give us the final 8. That's fine.
This is the BDI bracket, BDI East. So you had those 2 matchups. You had Legion of Doom's shoulder pads versus Zubaz and fanny packs, which was
that's a tough competition. Right there. I like that.
Tough matchup right there.
Then we had hot tags versus hello ladies. We had crowds counting to 10, punching in 10 punches in a corner versus the Wisconsin Chicken.
Wow.
Wisconsin Chicken did not make it very far. Suburban Commando versus Rick Rude taking atomic drops. I'll tell you right now, that is in the final 4. Rick Rude taking.
Okay, that makes sense.
David Arquette's entire wrestling career versus the NWO.
Oh,
and
that's
then
a landslide.
Bobby Heenan commentary versus the Triple H water spit.
Ooh.
So out of this BDI bracket, it went down to Rick Rude taking atomic drops versus hot tags. Hot tags with a hot run.
I like that.
And
yeah. And Rick Rude ends up winning.
Those are some solid choices right there.
Then we got Mo from Men on a Mission. No Oscar or Mabel in this tournament, by the way. Just Mo versus Jungle Boy's theme. We had Stone Cold cheering up Vince McMahon by playing an acoustic guitar versus CM Punk getting his ass kicked in UFC. We had Maven's drop kicks, second Maven reference of the day.
Wow.
Versus guitar shots. And Pee-wee's Joke of the Week theme music versus 80s Hulkamania pre-racism.
Did that theme music win the first time? What won the first tournament?
I think it was.
And it at least had a deep run. I don't remember what exactly won.
Yeah, I have it up there, 6 feet away from me, but I'm attached to a cable here, so I'm not going to go get it. We also had HBK versus Razor in the ladder match versus if Nick Gage wore a tuxedo. Now, I'm very upset.
Okay.
That if Nick Gage wearing a tuxedo, that didn't make it very far.
Is that what who had that? That was not on
that was mine. That was mine, yeah.
What a ridiculous thing to put on your list.
Tag ropes versus Bret Hart falling off a stage at AEW. The Vince strut walk, which interesting enough, you guys both gave me a list of 25 things.
Yeah.
Both of your number 18s were Vince's strut.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I purposely put that on there only after I put my number 17 on there, which was RBD's theme, Pantera's Walk. I wanted it to be walk against walk.
You know I mixed that up.
I'm
I
aware.
put it into a top hat and picked these things. So the Vince strut walk versus Bret Hart giving children sunglasses. And then drop down, which I thought would have done a lot better, versus Macho Man's drug-fueled promos, parentheses, allegedly. Yeah. And so the final two coming out of that group was Macho Man promos versus Pee-wee's Joke of the Week theme song. And Macho Man promos ended up winning.
Oof. Okay.
Then we have the 6-pack bracket. We had Shoe Baby versus Ted DiBiase stuffing people's mouths with money.
Oh,
we had
is Shoe Baby the only DCWA reference?
Technically, isn't Shoe Baby a Dutch Mantel reference?
Yes, but I'm assuming that the one that it was added to the list had nothing to do with Dutch Mantel.
Well, I don't know. You were the one who mentioned it, so you would have to tell us.
I don't remember this. This was so long ago.
It was your number 2, by the way. So it immediately came to your mind. Then we had the Bushwhackers meeting my dad versus the Spinaroonie. We had Otis, just Otis.
Regular Otis?
Yeah, versus Lust in Hogan's Eyes.
Oh, I like that one.
We had Andy Kaufman working heel versus Paul Heyman.
That's a good matchup.
We had pointing to the WrestleMania sign versus what I thought was going to win. New Jack typing on a keyboard before hitting someone with it. I thought that was going to be at least Final Four. It came close, but then we had N64's No Mercy versus the original Survivor Series rules. I like that one.
Yeah.
Then we had Terry Funk versus Sabu Born to be Wired match versus a singlet, the exact opposite of that match.
Singlet.
And then we had Billy Joe Travis Memorial Crockett Cup Tag Team Golf Championship Invitational versus Giant Machine, aka Andre the Giant with the mask. And so the two that came out of that one were Lust in Hogan's Eyes versus New Jack Typing. Lust in Hogan's Eyes ended up making it to the Final Four. Yeah. And then the final thing, I combined this one. You guys are probably going to call shenanigans on this. One of you had the Ultimate Warrior rope shake. One of you had the Ultimate Warrior entrance. And I just said, come on, we can't give the Ultimate Warrior multiple things. We're not that type of a podcast. Sure. We're not a alt-right wrestling podcast, although I think that would be a great idea, thinking of it right now. Check us out next time. So Ultimate Warrior rope shake versus 1997 Vince. 1997 Vince was right before the good stuff, the Austin stuff, like the beginnings of the best era of Vince.
Yeah.
Was he still working commentary at that time? Or was he off of it?
He was past commentary, but he was still kind of a good guy, but turning a little bit heel and then becoming the guy who was in the hospital because Stone Cold put him there and whatever. And then we had Dusty and Polka Dots versus Marty Jannetty's Facebook posts. First round stunner to me. I believe Dusty won that one.
Wow.
The Real American theme versus Hardy Boys WrestleMania Return.
Oh.
RVD's theme versus Demolition's theme.
Oh, it did make the cut. Okay.
Yeah. They all made the cut that you guys gave me, except I combined a couple of them.
Okay, I gotcha.
And then Hogan versus Rocket Mania versus Ico Pro. I thought Ico Pro had a chance, but I was wrong.
Best match ever behind Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn.
Bittermark's artwork versus the Vince McMahon stand back video. Jerry Lawler's punch versus Mean Gene outtakes. And then last but not least, the Huevos de Oro mask versus Tassels. The two that came out of that one were Tassels and the Hardy Boys return from WrestleMania. So we are down to the final four, and we have it here, guys. It's Rick Rude taking atomic drops versus Macho Man drug promos.
That is a very tough
Allegedly
choice. Well, yeah, that I don't care about. But that matchup, Rick Rude taking an atomic drop versus a typical Macho Man promo, that's difficult.
It's difficult because the Macho Man promos are obviously legendary, but the Rick Rude taking the atomic drop is kind of sneaky, incredible.
Also,
it's like
those are both mine. Those are both mine.
Nice work.
We'll get to that in a little bit. Don't worry about that.
I steamrolled this tournament.
And then we have the other finals matchup, which is Lust in Hogan's Eyes versus Tassels.
Tassels.
So, guys, you have a sheet of paper in front of you with a marker. I'm going to ask you guys, write your winner of Rick Rude taking atomic drops versus Macho Man drug promos.
Are you also choosing?
I'm also choosing. We're going to put the three up. So how we did this tournament was we did the first round. We brought it down to 32. Once we got it down to 32, I took our votes, and then I also put everything up on Twitter. So people were voting on them, and I added all that stuff up. Until now, we're in the final four where just the three of us get to choose because I don't like to include our fans in the things that we do. And by fans, I mean my dad and whoever else listens to this. So here we are, Rick Rude taking atomic drops.
Smooth Babies in the chat, please tell us your picks if you would rather have Rick Rude taking atomic drops.
It won't count for anything.
It won't count, but still, participate.
Versus Macho Man's drug promos, allegedly. You guys ready? In 3, 2, 1, show me your picks. Giggity. Rick Rude atomic drops, Macho promos, and mine says drugs. Mine says Macho promos. So Macho Man advances to the finals.
Rick Rude had a good run.
That was an amazing run. He was the Kansas State of this thing. I don't know what that means. And then the other final, we have Lust in Hogan's Eyes versus Tassels, which is a very interesting one. Lust in Hogan's Eyes, we got
Lust in Your Eyes.
Mega Powers Collide versus, honestly, Tassels might be one of the most underrated wrestling attributes of all time. Like,
where else do you see Tassels?
Ever, yeah.
Anywhere, other than like maybe ice skating competitions?
And classy strip joints as well. Let me know when you guys are ready. Lust in Eyes versus Tassels. Ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
3, 2, 1. Lust, Tassels, and Tassels. Tassels moves on to the finals to take on Macho Man drug promos, allegedly. This is the moment of truth. Do we have a drum roll? Do we have a drum roll? Everybody drum roll in your head for this one. Macho Man drug promos versus Tassels. You guys have already potentially written something down here.
I got both of them. I mean,
wrong.
quote unquote wrong. Yeah.
These are both my picks. Both my picks.
And here we go. 3, 2, 1. Bittermark's champion is... Oh, and a 2-1 Macho Man drug-fueled promos beats out Tassels. Producer Tony gets the win as he had both of the finals. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the final 8 correct.
Jeez.
I had the other 3. Pee-wee nowhere to be found.
Wait, did we? We didn't fill out brackets, did we?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
We did?
Yeah, I mean individual emails, like as it went along or whatever. Remember when I emailed you for many weeks in a row?
There was like 5 emails in like a span of 2 days.
Wait, was that prediction brackets or was that us voting?
I don't know what the difference is. You voted and then things happened.
All right.
Votes were tabulated.
Right. Okay. But like we didn't have a bracket to say like who I would have thought was gonna at the beginning when we had 64 of these things
to win the whole thing.
To win the whole. It could have been somebody who wasn't in the final 4 or final 8 or final 16.
And I do want to say this in the final 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that accurate? Producer Tony had 7. I had 7, and Pee Wee had 2. 2 of the 16. So thanks for the.
I tried, yeah.
For nothing, Pee Wee.
Don't ask me for stuff anymore. I'm too busy. I'll be on the road if you need me.
Talk for a second. Let me see if I can see the winner of last year's brackets.
I think it's got to be. It's got to be the Pee Wee's Joke of the Week theme music. I mean.
Any idea what it was up against? I don't remember anything about that other than that the Pee Wee theme was in there.
Maybe the artwork. Maybe I don't know.
Oh, maybe. I bet Sasha.
I can barely remember what I did.
Also,
for
what
lunch.
is he looking at? What does he have hung up in his room that commemorates the winner of this thing?
He's got a legal sheet of the 2021 bracket of the Bitter Marks Tournament of Greatness or whatever the hell we're calling
camera
this.
and listening to the podcast that we announced the winner on previously. What were you looking at?
I have the complete list of here.
He left again. He's gonna go finish listening to the podcast to find out who the finals.
Yes.
So what was the final 2 or the final?
This was the entire bracket of last time.
I don't think you know how to do a bracket. That's not a bracket, sir.
No, it's a bracket. It's just handwritten, very, very tiny. Yeah, I got used to have a lot of time on my hands. So
what was the final 4?
Rick Rude taking atomic drops versus
not of ours.
Macho.
A year ago, whenever we did that.
I don't have it. I just have the list of the starting bracket.
See. Oh, so he didn't have a bracket in front of him. Okay, yeah. I got you. Well, nice job.
Way to go,
Tony.
Fun.
Honestly, good job, Tony. You definitely supplied a ton of content to that list. That
you know, it's funny. Like I did that list while I was bowling a couple of weeks ago. Like I was just like in between shots. I just kept rattling off like my favorite things in wrestling, and you know, I think I nailed it.
Producer Tony's first 4 things that he wrote: Rick Rude taking atomic drops, Macho Man drug fueled promos, Pee Wee Joke of the Week theme music, and tassels. He got 3 of the 4 in his
3 out of the
4
final 4.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Anyway, that's it for the show, guys. What's making me bitter is Cody Rhodes. I don't know if you heard about it before. Crying, coward, sucks. That's all I got for you. Producer Tony, what's making you bitter?
All right, we teased it, but Southwest Airlines. So not only did they cancel my flight 10 hours before, I was already checked in to this flight. They canceled the flight on me. No flights coming home the next day. I had to pay out of my pocket to stay an extra night in Vegas, you know, which is okay. If there's worse places to be stranded, right? So we get to the airport the next day, and the guy at the terminal says, "Attention passengers, we need 11 people to get off of this airplane. We're overbooked."
Oh no!
So, there was only one upgrade for boarding available, so I took it so I could get like an aisle seat, and then Jen could sit in the middle of me, you know. So like I'm on the plane, Jen is waiting to board, and we're still waiting. They're gonna play nobody's has volunteered because of all the delays and stuff. So they're gonna pick people at random. They're gonna pick 11 people at random to not get on the flight. So I get on the plane, and I'm texting Jen. I'm like, have they said anything? What's going on? She's worried that she's gonna get bumped, and she's gonna be in Vegas. So like, as the last boarding group is set to board, they say, "Oh, the weather has cleared up. Now we don't have to kick anybody off."
What? What does that mean?
That's what I said. apparently they were expecting a slick runway in Chicago, and if the plane is too heavy, the plane can slide off the runway, apparently.
Oh, interesting.
So in the matter of 20 minutes, it goes from being unsafe to, oh yeah, it's fine. Fine, just get on the plane. So
I'm glad you're home.
fuck you, Southwest Airlines. I'll never fly this piece of shit airline again. And they probably got Steve Blackman working luggage. I don't know.
Pee-wee, what's making you bitter this week?
I don't like modern day fans and their take on what ECW was. When you talk to somebody who's a current, like, modern day fan and wasn't necessarily a big ECW fan back in the day, you ask them what they think ECW was, and all they tell you is that it was, there was blood in every match, there were weapons in every match, everything was just a bloodbath. It made no sense, no theory, blah blah blah. And yes, there were weapons, yes, there was blood, but it absolutely was not every match. They were not hardcore 24/7. There was so much more to ECW, and I don't feel like the history books are portraying ECW in the way that it was back then in 1997, 1998 through like 2002, during that heyday of ECW. And it just frustrates me. I don't think that the original ECW, I know it's not original, but like the golden years of ECW aren't getting its due, and it makes me mad.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at BitterMarks. Follow us on Facebook, maybe? I don't know. ProWrestlingTees.com/don't go there. It's too expensive. Too expensive. That's D, as in don't go there. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for sitting through what I don't know if it was a good podcast or not, but I have horrible intros and outros, and that's all I got for this week. See you guys. We don't even have a date for the next show, so that's a good thing.
Not like it matters. We changed the last one at the last minute anyway. Just tune into our Twitter at Flips and Bumps. What are we, at BitterMarks?
Yeah, all of them. At Team Space Pod. See you guys.
I don't have anything. This FDT, I'll go back to that.
Wow.
Man, we are way off our game here. See you guys.
Bye.